you would always be successful in business if you're solving a problem.
You are one of the most coolest pastors I ever met.
Like, so you gotta post a variety of things until you understand what even people just following you for.
And I tell people, you can't make great decisions with poor information.
We gotta make clap down. We gotta clap down with that right there. Hey, how y'all doing? It's Marlon Watts, co-owner and CEO of WRLDINVSN, and we back with another one on the Activate Your Vision podcast. And we got a special guest all the way from New Orleans. Pastor Everett is here to drop gems, drop knowledge, and y'all know we doing this show, just trying to activate y'all vision to, motivate you guys to, one, trust in your vision. We know that a lot of people that watch this podcast have brands, have businesses, have services that they provide to the world, and we just want to come give you an insight on how we doing, what we doing, bringing a special guest on for they could share their story and how they doing what they doing, and just give you guys an insight, something to go after you watch this video. You should be going to put some action behind your idea. And so let's just go ahead and get started. Pastor Everett, let them know who you are, what you do, and why are you so special to the world?
Man, thank you, first of all, to Nick and Marlon for the opportunity. I'm Pastor Jonathan Everett from New Orleans. I pastor Rock of Ages Baptist Church. I have a consulting business and several other things, wrote a book. I'm special just because I'm necessary or add value to not just a person, but add value to a community, add value to a city, or add value to a state. And we'll pretty much get into that and kind of break that down, that if you walk in a room and the value measure don't go up, then you're irrelevant to the room, right? And I think that in order to consider yourself to be special, you have to add value. You have to be an answer to a problem, right? You have to be a solution to some chaos. So I think today's society, I think being special have to have a new definition. You know what I mean? It's not personality driven as much as it's impactful, right? What impact you're making on somebody's life is what we consider today. That's my opinion.
I like that you said adding value too, because I used to, when I like before going to college, I wanted to go to college so I could like get a degree and get a good job that could pay me like a lot of money. Yeah. But like when I learned how to add value, like that's when I like by me just adding value, I'm worth whatever I want to be worth at that point, because I know what I'm worth, and I'm able to bring something to the table. Yeah. So that adding value part, anybody that's watching this video, that's what y'all need to be doing. True. In anything that you do, make sure you coming to the table with something, and not just trying to take. Yeah.
Agree. And I hope this don't offend you, but like you are one of the most coolest pastors I ever met. I don't know how that really works, but like explain to the people like what make you different from most pastors out there.
Man, here's some truth, man. I come from the projects, so I'm too flawed to be flashy, right? Like I don't consider myself to be like this personality or this person of a celebrity status. Like, from hanging with billionaires to the mayor, to lieutenant governor, from the governor to the politicians, to every political campaign in the city of New Orleans, having our hands on it, being able to oversee 622 pastors in Kampala, Uganda, Africa. Like all of those things, they don't puff me up because I know where I came from. You know what I mean? I think as long as you hold on to what made you, you'll never get beside yourself or think more highly of yourself, because all of us are one decision away of losing it all. You feel what I'm saying?
That's straight Jim. I'm gonna be watching this video myself.
like that's real talk. Everybody is one decision. No matter how high you go, right? Everybody is one decision from losing it all. You know what I mean? I don't care what mayor, what caliber of a person, because after you serve as a mayor for 4 years, you back a regular person. After you serve for so many years, you back a regular governor. So at the end of the day, if you discover adding value, knowing exactly who you are, what make you, what drive you, driven by design, right? What drives you, then you'll never change who you are. I tell people, I want you to grow, but I don't want you to change. Mm-hmm. You feel me? Like a lot of people, they look at that concept, they say, well, I can't grow. There's some things about you should never change. Loyalty, integrity, a moral compass, being polite to people. I don't care how much you grow, those things shouldn't change. Unfortunately, we take growth to our head And we figure we have to change everything in order to be this special person that looks out. Man, when I go places, I sit in the back with everybody else. I chill with everybody else. I don't want my name mentioned. I just like to enjoy life. You know what I mean? And I think that's significant. Muhammad Ali said that one time. He said if a boxer can't walk his own kids to school and from school, man, he need bodyguards and all that. He's scary, man. His people don't love him. If he can't walk around without bodyguards to his kids' school, that's a problem. So he was just speaking to, I don't think a person should have all of those different things, man.
Right, I understand. And what is special and unique about you is you have an entrepreneurial spirit. Can you share some of, the businesses that you have and how you maybe, use your current platform? Because a lot of people right now watching this video, they may be athletes. The NIL is coming on. So how did you use your current platform to promote the other things that you would?
First of all, I had to be real with myself and discover where I wanted to be, whether I wanted to be in the front or whether I wanted to be in the back, right? Whether I want to be on the stage or whether I want to operate behind the curtain. And so for me, my business or what I do is not necessarily the person that's on the stage. I make sure the pieces connect. I went to this luncheon one time in the state of Maryland, right? And Collective Banking Group was a part of this organization. And it was like $7,000 a plate, right? I'm from New Orleans. If you tell me $7,000 for this plate and I walk up to the table and they got a pail with some chocolate syrup on it, I like, nah, y'all gotta run that back. Y'all gotta bring me some gumbo or y'all bring me a whole fish with the head on it. But I ain't paid $7,000 for no pail with some chocolate syrup on it, right? But there was a influential guy who was sitting next to me, and he said, I want you to look around this room. Now they had Mark Morial, who was over Urban Lead at that time. Still is. You have the NAACP president. You have Michael Steele over the NRC. You have all of these governors and mayors and senators and consultants. And then they had one person in the corner. So he looks at me. He's like, Everett, who's the most powerful person in this room? I was like, Mark Morial. I guess all of us came to him, He's like, nah. And he said, the governor. No. Michael Steele. No. He said, you see that little light-skinned guy right there on side that stage? He the lobbyist. This room only exists because of him. He said, you can go after any one of these persons single-handedly, you just get them. He said, but if you go after him, you get everybody in this room. He taught me the power of networking, and he taught me the most powerful person in the room is not the name on the billboard. The most powerful person in the room is the person who put the room together. So I had to discover where I wanted to be and where I was most efficient and add value. I'm the behind-the-scene guy. So when y'all seeing different people with campaigns and big campaigns, I'm the behind-the-scene guy putting their teams together, right? When y'all see all these different things in the city of New Orleans and stuff, I'm a behind-the-scene guy putting these things together. You know what I mean? You're talking about the census report and all of these other things that's going on from a government perspective. So I just took my networking skills, my ability to communicate with people and to understand that if I don't add value, then I'm insignificant. And if both of us doing the same thing, then one of us is irrelevant. I understood that I had to just play my part. You know what I mean? Like, why everybody fighting to go through the back door when the front door is wide open right now? It's like, it's a crazy concept. So I took my stuff, business-wise, for-profit, non-profit, and our church, and I just used those platforms to leverage our community and our restoration and economy. So I love to talk about economy, social, economic construct, to deal with all of the different things that our economy have disparities at, and I fix that, right? Because I tell everybody that you would always be successful in business if you're solving a problem, period. If you can't solve a problem.
Explain that. We got to make clap down. We got to clap down with that right there. Hey, explain what you mean by, if you're not going to be in business if you can't solve a problem.
You're irrelevant. So the hospitals are still operating because people are getting sick. Gas stations are still popping because people run out of gas. The dentist is needed because somebody needs some dental work. These businesses are thriving because there is a problem. Their purpose match their problem, right? And we see that a lot, that people become duplicates of other people, not considering their own significance, right? And so it could be like a weird idea. It could be an idea that nobody think is popping or will pop, but it solve a problem though. You feel what I'm saying? So when they have Mr. Rouse is at the thing out there at DC, my phone blowing up, Pastor, what we doing? I ain't doing nothing. What y'all mean what we doing? But they trying to solve a problem. And that problem didn't exist, by the way, but they understood who to call. So we don't have NAACP no more, these different these different chapters and things of that nature. But when people know in any community or any city who's the problem solver, your phone will always ring.
Wow.
Your phone will always ring, man.
Yeah,
and if you don't know how to solve problems, you're a liability. You can't help me. You know what I mean? I'd rather a person who have a good heart, who might not be as efficient in the job, but they can solve problems, than a person who bragging about how dope they are, but can't solve a problem. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I don't need you to be grinning in my face. I need you to solve a problem. Here's one of the things I had to learn, that sometimes we pay people to be loyal to us and not necessarily for their gifts, right? And that's essentially a big deal, because when we, employing people and having people come on our staff, I don't hire my friends like that. You know what I mean? Now, I'm not saying that there are not some who are dope, right? Because they know how to solve problems. But like in today's society, I ain't talking about a couple years ago, I'm talking about today. They just want to get down because they're friends and they feel like they're entitled. And I'll be sitting back like, nah, you can't solve problems. Because all day I'm dealing with problems. You can't lighten that load. I'm trying to figure out where you head.
And you're going to add to the load.
Yeah, you are the load in a few minutes.
That's crazy. Hey, but we want to take the time right now to say subscribe to our channel, like this video, run us up. We saw last time that we had people from everywhere watching this video. We're going to take the chance right now. Go ahead, comment your state, comment your city, where you from, how long you been a part of the Activate Your Vision podcast series, and
It's time to get us to 25K.
Time to get us to 25K.
Okay, we're at 20.7 right now. Yeah. We gotta get to 25. Yeah. So run us up, make sure y'all subscribe to this video, and let's get back into it.
Yeah. I like how y'all say run it up. That sounds very hip. Wait till my next intro. Come on, let's go.
They gotta run us up. They gotta run us up. Uh-huh. Hey, I'm gonna ask you, give me some daily habits of just your everyday life. What's some things that I could include in my life? Some things that helped you. And then what's some things you think I should leave out, or just anything like that, anything that help improve your daily life?
Let me run this up right quick. Nah, just flat. Come
on, run us up.
Right. So a couple of practices that I have daily, man. I wake up every morning at 5 a.m. in the morning.
Facts.
And I normally go to the pond, man, listen to the birds, ducks, all that kind of stuff, and let nature speak to me, right? But it always reminds me of how the cosmos of this world have functionalities. Right? And it always speaks to me about what is your function for today. And it speaks to me about making sure that I'm faithful to it. Gravity can't take off today. You know what I mean? That water can't stop running a certain flow to provide to a certain country. And you get what I'm saying? It speaks to me inadvertently and advertently to say, do your function, play your piece today. And then it reminds me, I'm just a piece of a puzzle. You feel what I'm saying? It doesn't give me the anxiety of thinking I'm in control, because control is an illusion. Nobody's never in control. I don't care who you are. Right now, we are not in control. We don't know what our liver is doing. We don't know what our heart is doing. We don't know what they're doing in Czechoslovakia. We're never in control. So it teaches me to depend on the person who is God to me, that he would have my best interest at heart and lead me throughout the day. So that's one practice. Another practice is I pray every morning. We have our prayer line, we got a couple of thousand people on there. And to be honest with you, everybody was like, why, Pastor, why you pray every morning? I pray anyway. You know what I mean? I just let y'all in on my prayer.
Thanks.
It's something that I'm gonna do anyway. I'm gonna do this naturally. But what it's doing is attracting like all of your prominent people from around the country, and lawyers and doctors and judges and boxers and all these type of people who wake up every morning. It's like, oh, I ain't know if I start my day off with prayer, how it give me peace and give me confidence throughout my day, right? And then you hear the testimonies of people who was about to commit suicide, and people who wanted to commit homicide, and people who was getting high at the time of the prayer line, and people who was about to abort their baby the day of the prayer line, and people who was about to strangle their kids. The testimonies is like bananas, but that's a practice. It's not something I have to prepare myself to do. It's just something, it's a discipline, right? And then throughout the day, I'm gonna be honest with you. I tell my church this all the time. Everybody's not a Monday conversation. I determine who I talk to per day. I protect my peace, because you cannot be productive without peace, flat out, right? Monday, certain people call my phone, I ain't answering. I talk to you Friday, because I know you about to dump some mess on me. You about to tell me about your baby daddy. You about to tell me about, no, this real talk, right? I'm trying to run it up. You gonna tell me about how y'all went out and drinking and she ain't give you no gas money? Man, I ain't trying to hear none of that on Monday, right? Because Monday is the start of my week. It's the start of a brand new week of potential. I need my mind right. I got to be sharp. I got too many problems I'm gonna have to mess with throughout the week to start off heavy. You know what I mean? And then, you know, I always build relationships, man. If I had to say one of the most beneficial things to me has been the art of building relationships. Seriously. I don't take relationships lightly. I told you that. I don't play with them. I don't play with them at all because I don't think success or anything really has the effectiveness outside of the relationship. You know, the Black Godfather, Clarence Avant, he said this. He said, if you don't got real friends, you don't have nothing. He said, you can have billions of dollars, but when you find yourself in a hole, if you don't have a friend to come pull you out of that hole, that's a problem. Master P says, if you can't call your friend and ask for 500 million to get you out of the hole, is that your friend? Relationships has always been a big thing for me. I don't take them lightly. I call my people throughout the week. You good? You good? Whether it's a text message in between meetings, you good? I tell everybody, if we're going to be friends, two things. You got to have a pure heart and right intentions. You see what I'm saying? Because you never know where relationships go, man. You never know where they're going to bring you at. If some of the things I would tell you to leave out is the stress of thinking that you're in control of your own destiny. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like, I know the optimism and I understand the positive perspective, but here's the truth, man. Life can change, man, in a minute, bro. I done seen life change on people in seconds. I'll give y'all this story. One of my mentees, he played football, and he just signed a $200-something million contract, right? I'm in church on Sunday morning. I just left him a week prior to speaking at his nonprofit thing in Miami, right? So I thought I finished doing all this already, you understand? So I get back home, finish preaching on Sunday morning. I don't carry my phone on Sunday. Man, I had about 20 missed calls. I pick up the phone, call the guy, like, who is this? It's his agent. It's like, this Mike, blah, 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 blah. He needs you in Miami right now. I'm like, need me in Miami? Nah, that's crazy, because I'm in New Orleans. Like, this is going to be kind of tough, you know? He's like, nah, he needs you here today. We're going to book your hotel at the Ritz-Carlton on South Beach. We got a call waiting on you. You just get the ticket and we'll refund you. I get on the plane like 2 hours later, right? Get to Miami. I walk in this $5 million penthouse. $5 million penthouse. That thing had all white in it. You know I wasn't sitting down. It's $5 million on the river, on the beach of South Beach. But when I went to go find him, I see a big old football player, man, balled up in the closet with alcohol bottles all around him. And I said, man, we just talked just a couple of days ago. Like, how you get here? Like, they found him because he missed so many appearances he was supposed to make before he head to his next city. And that thing hit me. So I laid on the floor with him. I was like, what's up, dog? What we gonna do? Man, Pastor, I can't take it, man, blah, blah, blah. I said, no. It's only two ways through this, big brother. You can't stay here. It's either you're gonna get up, go back home, tell the team you done, take care of your mom with the rest of the money you have, or you get up and you manage your life like a man. Because life ain't gonna give you nothing, and nobody owe you nothing. And so then I said, if you don't get your big, go take a shower, boy. You stink. So some of the things I leave, man, is you can't control it all life, but you have to trust in God and trust the people that you have around you, man. Real talk.
That's facts. And I like how you said, like nobody owe you nothing, and like life don't owe you nothing. Like you really could make something happen. Like you really could go out here and make something happen.
Stay hungry, man. Life don't owe you nothing. I tell people that all the time. My mother had 12 kids. All right, I'm the seventh child. My mom was facing 90 years to life. My mom was a big dope dealer, right? I come from the project. Life don't owe me nothing. I'm not walking around telling people you owe me this. I'm not walking around saying, how you gonna play me like this? Nah, I'm hungry. I gotta go get it. In the morning when I wake up, I'm going to get it. You understand? I can listen to my own thoughts and motivate myself. You feel what I'm saying? Because I feel like nobody owed me nothing. All right, cool. If you don't give it to me, all right, somebody got it. I live by this principle. No is the wrong answer. You feel me? If God tell me yes, I don't care what nobody tell me. You tell me no, I'm speaking to the wrong person. I need to holler at your boss or somebody else because I don't take no's. You know, it's a grit, man. You know, because nobody owes you. I think the people who feel entitled and feel like somebody owes them something, they're so relaxed, they let life just passively pass them by, which, gotta go get it, big man. I hope I ran it up.
Man, what?
My
I like
next question would be, you know, how has it been being a part of the World Envision family, and what has the World Envision experience been like?
Man, I'm gonna be honest with y'all, man. Ever since we did the interview at WBOK on the radio station, man, I admired you. I called around, you know, I checked my resources, you know. I called around and said, man, this guy's a good guy, but I said, man, Marlon, great, you know. But to see where you all started, to hear y'all's story is phenomenal, right? Because y'all represent this get it out the mud generation type situation, but yet still hungry for more. But not just that, but then have futuristic plans of developing and impacting people. You know what I mean? When I was at the Thanksgiving thing, and I'm just listening to all of the different achievements and listening to all the different kids you all in empower. If nothing else, keep empowering them to become more powerful than they think they are, right? Because nobody, essentially, you know, Satan don't want you to know how powerful you are, but if you empower a person, I think that person can do great exploits. The thing that blessed my life, man, was exposure. I tell people exposure is the currency of any ethnicity. That when you're exposed to a better life, you have a way or an opportunity to raise your expectations, right? When I flew to Maryland, man, I lived in D.C. area for like 6 years, and I was making $300,000 a year. Young guy from New Orleans. You know you couldn't tell me nothing, right? I'm up there in Canali suits and Michelins and Belvederes and Tom Fords. You couldn't tell me nothing, right? But it exposed me that black people live in big houses. Like the doctor came to my house. I was like, nah, bro, you ain't coming to my house. He's like, yeah, I'll pull up on you. I was like, is this possible? Like, is this legal? Like, I couldn't fathom that, right? But when it exposed me, and when I came back to the city of New Orleans, I said, man, ain't nowhere in the world I'm about to continue to live or go back to living beneath my privileges. I've been exposed. Once you've been exposed, you can't be unexposed. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, you show it to me, you're in trouble, right? And I live by this other principle that God will never tease you with anything. I take that literally. So some of my friends, if I pull up on them, and I took a couple of fellas with me to D.C., and my friends pulling up in Lamborghinis and Rolls Royces, and they was like, Pastor, what that mean? I said, God ain't gonna tease you, man. If he show it to you, if he let you enjoy it, it can possibly be yours because you've been exposed to it. You know what I mean? But World Envision is
That's facts.
I can't wait, boy, to see what God have for y'all. And I don't want to get spiritual on y'all, but I'm serious. I really can't wait to see how God is using y'all as a symbol to a generation. You would never know your impact because greatness is always received in retrospect. Right? People think you great after the fact. It's always a delay in society. People like, oh yeah, that dude was dope, bro. Even if you done fell, like did something wrong, they were like, but he was a dope dude. Never told you he was a dope dude, but now they have an opinion. Because greatness are always received in retrospect. That's why they celebrate the dead so much. Yeah. No. Yeah.
Man, hey,
we celebrated Nipsey.
I'm tuned in.
Dead after the fact. You see what I'm saying? We celebrate these people after the fact because it's not received. Cohesively, the comprehension is a delay. You know what I mean? By the time we get there, we're like, oh yeah, he was a good dude. Because adding value, right? That if a person is gone and nobody miss them, they wasn't valuable.
Man, I hope y'all are getting these gems right now.
My head like,
yeah, man, this time we just want to get y'all to subscribe to our channel, like this video, run us up. You know what I mean? We got Pastor Everett in the building. Man, it's been crazy. I got another question. How have you been able to utilize social media, the internet to
as a pastor,
as a platform to also promote your brand and expand outside of your current reach?
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna just say this: there's no check that can really describe how much a person is worth, nor is their position. Right? So when they say pastor, for me, I always tell them, like, what is that? You know what I mean? Like, tell me how he's supposed to dress. Like, tell me how tall he's supposed to be. He's supposed to have a belly or not? Like, he's supposed, like, tell me about him. So my way to dealing with technology, man, is I had to make sure I defend myself on so many levels, not verbally, but through action, because of all of the myths that people have with pastors. And pastors are money hungry, and pastors, they want people to come to their church and all that type of stuff. So I've been doing a prayer call long before any pastor in the country was doing a prayer call. That stuff, man, that's like 2009, right? I put like 700 people on a call, and we praying in the noontime. And then when Facebook and all that type of stuff came, I started, Periscope came first, like with that, right? And we was doing Periscope on prayer and the phone call. But then when the pandemic happened, I just said, all right, cool. Let me do Facebook and Instagram. And for me, for social media, I don't show them my personal life. You know, I show them what I do, which what I do is enough for you to have enough content to develop an assessment or an opinion about me, right? So we start doing the prayer line in the morning and you start getting to thousands of people. You know, the number one thing people say is, man, you like sound authentic. You're not up there saying, Father God, you know what I mean? Like, you ain't up there saying, touch your neighbor and love the Lord. Now, you know, I'm just talking. I put a t-shirt on. I don't wear my Jesus abstract cover tie. I be on like, yeah, now what's up this morning? You know, it's just and that's what people want, natural, organic. That's why people fell in love with reality TV. They want natural, organic stuff. I protect myself from different blows and stuff because, you know, people always try to come at your neck. You know what I mean? Like, if you're a pastor, why you say this? Because you said it. What do you mean? Like, I suppose, like, I can't say certain things that is true, right? And so that's how I've been able to kind of leverage it all, just being authentic and organic, and I don't overdo it. Like, I'm not on there 7 o'clock in the morning. Once I get off, bro, I'm going about my day. I really don't have too much time to be sitting around on there again. You know what I mean? And I give them enough to know me, but I don't give them too much to demonize me.
Right. Nick, maybe talk about just organic content in general and how we feel about content and why we post organic content and why we create content, period, and what that does for our brand.
Yeah, that's like the same thing. What you saying is that's how we are too. We just are who we are, basically. And then like as far as like even how we like release our clothes and stuff, like we might just post like photos of the clothes literally just in my hand. Like and then just like with these videos too, it's also like we tell them like what it's like to grow, you know, a brand like we're growing, and we give them more insight and more like transparency so they could understand like that it is like problems and it is things that we face to be able to grow the brand. So a lot of just being yourself, like you're saying, just being organic is like one of the biggest, like probably the most engaging thing, you know,
so
ever.
I have a question. Like if I was a barber, and how would what's the things that I would do to create content to expand my sales? You know, how can I use this social media platform to get more customers? And what should I be posting?
All right, so all right, and I guess this like you just basically interviewing me on this video. I'm gonna say like cause you know with me like I'll be more thinking of like the ideas of it, cause I just be knowing what's gonna work or knowing what's not gonna work before I even do it. So I just more think of the ideas. But let's just say if you don't even have ideas, you don't even know where to start. Like most importantly, it's just gonna be about just finding your niche first. Like, so you gotta post a variety of things until you understand what even people just following you for.
Yeah.
And then like, also just, you know, posting the best stuff, not really like overflowing it, because a lot of people like, they think that just posting a lot is gonna make people wanna come engage with your stuff, but if they're not engaging with what you already post, they're not really gonna engage with the next stuff. So really just first finding your niche, and like getting, you know, really putting out what your audience want from you. So, I mean, obviously you're not gonna go on Instagram and talk about anything other than, like you're not gonna, just like what you just said, you're not gonna post your family or your kids or you just hanging out on a vacation. You're gonna post more of whatever you posting, like motivational, teaching people things. You're gonna focus on just that. You really do the same thing over and over and over and over again. So if you're a barber and you taking pictures of some, you know, taking haircuts, it's gonna be you taking pictures of a nice haircut every single time, but it's just gonna be the way that you're doing, the way that you're delivering that time, and the way that you're delivering the other time.
And that's going viral. I mean, I see all the time, like on the TikTok, they'll spin them around. They'll have the bad haircut, then they'll spin them around again, and they'll have the fresh cut, and that's engaging to people. And it's organic.
Yeah, it's organic.
And from that, people like, oh, I want my cut just like this.
Yeah.
Who that is?
Yeah. People want that organic stuff, man. I think, but when you do make a presentation, you want to make sure that it's excellence. Like, go back to that word excellence, right? You can have a person who have a video that's like Wanda off of Color Purpose. I don't know what that is. Living Color. Y'all know what? Y'all too young? Y'all too young? Let Jamie Foxx play like, oh man, it's messed up. All right, cool. But he ain't look too good, a man with a wig on with big lips. You know what I'm talking about?
He wear like the brown wig.
Yeah. So you got Wanda on this side. This the guy who cold-blooded cutting hair and blah, blah, blah. But then you got a dude over here, he can't cut worth a lick. But what he presented to the people is a Halle Berry forecast. And even though he the man, how he present himself is not right, right? And people will give him play because of their history with him. But everybody gonna give him play because of how he present himself. And I tell people, you control the narrative. You know what I mean? Now, I can sit there in the chair with a t-shirt on, but why not make the picture perfect? You know what I mean? Like
just like what you're saying about like controlling the narrative, that's like the same thing with like marketing in general. And like a lot of people don't understand that people that market their products, like they control the narrative for their product and they put out what they want you to see from them. So it's just like that's how we got like grew our following to like a mass amount too, is because like we put out our story of like how we started the brand.
Yeah.
Like, and that's what gravitated a lot of people to the brand. So I mean, a lot of people don't really know that. They just think that somebody's supposed to come and just write up a story on them and they just running with that. But really, you put out your own message and you come up with your own story and you put that out there for.
Man, somebody look at our live broadcast on Sunday morning. They don't know if that church full. They don't know how big that church is. They don't know how many people in that church. They don't know if black people in that church, white people in that church, because of our shots. We control our narrative, right? We're giving you what you need and what we want you to see. Now, granted, it's packed from front to back, overflows and all that type of stuff, but you don't know that. You don't know how wide the church is. You don't know how long it is. So a lot of people who come to our church, they be like, oh man, I thought y'all had a big church. But we straight in the hood. You know, we right around the corner saying, oh, on North Town T. So they come, they were like, I thought I was coming to a big church. Because they've already made an assessment of if that quality is that nice, that sound is that nice, it got to be a big church. They got to have they game right. But when they come and they see a little red brick church, like, man, check this out. I'm like, welcome. Like, guess who coming on to dinner, right? Oh, man. Yeah, man.
That's funny, bro.
Yeah, that's dope, though.
That's crazy. I guess before we, as we wrap up, there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there right now that are solo entrepreneurs or maybe have one or two team members. Can you explain how was it building your team and give some advice on people that are building a team and necessary things that they should do to make that happen?
You know, man, building a team is always essential to where and I hope every entrepreneur really assess where the country is, because you could be doing the right thing but at the wrong time. Mm-hmm. You feel me? So you can go out there and hire all these people, but we just had a lapse in the economy. It's not saying you didn't do the right thing. It's just bad timing. I'll give you an example. When I was in D.C., I brought like $190,000 worth of equipment because I started my environmental business. So we used to do hazmat, clean up, oil spills, clean up murder scenes. And then we used to do landscaping and janitorial stuff. But when I brought it, $190,000 had to go in the drain. I had my Dons and Bradstreet number, all this stuff, right? It went in the drain because George Bush just took us into a recession. So everybody started firing the subcontractors and say, we're going to keep our own people, make them do multiple work. So I think it was the right thing. Everything was lined up. We had contracts, It was just at the wrong time. And I think for entrepreneurs, you have to always think globally and operate locally, that you really understand the globe move at a certain time. This is bigger than a city. This is bigger than a state. This is bigger than a brand. You got to know where you fit within the globe. You see what I'm saying? Like, where you fit within the operation of this world turning. And the more you start thinking globally, you can always be ahead of the game 2 or 3 steps, because you're saying, man, the world twists every 4 years. That's why presidents only in office for 4 years. I keep telling y'all that because terms dictates turns. You feel what I'm saying? Terms really give you insight to terms. So the stuff we are seeing right now in the United States of America, George Bush signed off on some of this stuff. But a lot of people think Barack Obama or Trump did. No, policies don't work that way. By the time George Bush signed off on some stuff, it can be years later before it come into effect. You didn't feel Obamacare until years later. You feel what I'm saying? Like, everything has a term. So for every young entrepreneur who's hiring and you're working with your two or three people, as long as the job is getting done, and as long as what you're doing is effective and adding value. For years at our church, I only kept like 2 or 3 people on staff. Now we have like 9, 10 people on staff. Why? Because it's turning. So I'm ahead of the game a couple of steps, because while other churches trying to adjust to the pandemic, I'm on the other side of the pandemic. I see what's coming on the other side of it. When people come out of the pandemic, you got young entrepreneurs like yourself saying, man, they got to be a higher power. And I got to find out who that higher power is, right? So for our church now, in the pre-pandemic, we didn't have like millionaires and billionaires and all these type of people. But now we have those people attracted to our ministry because we're a couple of steps ahead, because we're able to give them some form of leadership out of this pandemic. You feel what I'm saying? So to the person with 2 or 3 employees, don't let that bother you, man. Listen, I did all the work myself. I used to clean the toilet at the church. I used to run the broom, run the dust mop. Man, listen, I steamed my pews. I'd be up in there happy singing down, steaming them pews, because I knew that one day I was going to have somebody in my place. You feel me? I never let numbers, I never count numbers. I always think the Lord will make numbers count. Real talk. Run that up for him.
As we conclude talking about maybe the delegate and elevate model that we use, and how has that helped us continue to build a team?
I mean, it's like the same thing with what you're saying. If I feel like, we at that time when we was building our team, it was like the perfect time, and like we building our team is all warehouse stuff and all just back end. It ain't really like we had like a store or anything like that. But what we did notice when we was small and we was growing, we couldn't do the same things that we was doing. We had to delegate and elevate, like Marlon saying. Like we had to take away the tasks that we didn't necessarily, it necessarily didn't need me to do that. You get what I mean? Like only really focus on the things that's needed for that person to do that. And any other thing that could be, learned or taught to, like then we could just delegate that to somebody else, so we could just keep on moving up, moving up the bar. And we working on that now. It's kind of different when things like more abstract, like video and design and stuff like that. It's kind of different. We learning that right now. But like as far as like folding like a t-shirt, we started off folding the shirt, sewing the shirt. I remember I used to think that nobody else would be able to sew this tag on there but myself. You know what I mean? But then we taught a whole bunch of people, and we just kept on moving up. Like we literally did everything from the beginning to the end, and then as we kept leveling up, we just kept on just delegating that task to somebody else, and also creating systems while we did it. So like making videos and making step-by-step guides to just teach. If you wanted to come in today and do production job, we could get you on that today, just because we got the manuals and everything ready to go. So you would be folding the shirt less than 1 minute today.
Wow.
Yep. and then on the other end of add those systems, we started to create systems, and then what we realized was, when we were small, was like, damn, how we know if they're doing what they say they're supposed to be doing? And so then we started to develop, checks and actually have goals.
I seen the boards, man. Y'all on it, man. Because I tell everybody, especially the consultant side of what we do, you don't rise to the level of your vision. You fall to the level of your systems. Man, why y'all be quiet when I be saying stuff like that? Y'all make me feel like
we said that. I'm like,
they're taking it ourselves.
you don't rise to the level of your vision. Just because you have great vision doesn't mean that you rise to that. You fall to the level of your systems. If those systems are not highly functional, you'll never reach that vision. I tell people you can't make great decisions with poor information. You know what I mean? Like those things are essential to building those systems. And to build systems around you is to push you to your greatest use. You know what I mean? It make no sense for I tell people, my job is to teach you what I see, not what I know. You know what I mean? My job is to teach you what I see, not teach you to do my job, right? Because you have to play a part of these systems, and you have to reach that vision with that system. But if everybody doing the same thing, there's no possible way we highly functional, as people say.
Right. And we literally started off with doing like a checklist where it was like, once you're done with that box, we put whiteboards up. And before we had someone, now we have it where they could just mark what they did right there and someone come check the boxes. But before, you have to go walk to the whiteboard, mark by your name, you did your box, go back. So that's how we knew you was doing it. And then we started the weigh packages for the fulfillment, so that we could see how much that one person was doing a package a day. And then with customer service, every time they finish an email, they gotta mark that down, so we know how many emails they did, how many phone calls they had, how many fulfillment errors we had, how many, out of stocks orders. So just the more, and we was telling our team the other day, we came back from the break, we had 4,000 orders. And sometimes some things in those 4,000 orders may still be at the print shop. Wow. And don't think about it as like, oh, we got a problem. Because now we never would know what it'll take to get 4,000 orders done if we never got them.
Yeah, that's true.
So now we got to take this as a learning opportunity, and not as like this is a problem, but like this is a chance for us to develop new skills, new systems got to be put in play, and now we got a chance to actually develop. Like this is the fun part. Like we just finishing going home early, that's not fun.
Nah. Not when you have that dog in you. I tell everybody, real entrepreneurs got that dog in them. I got to ask y'all a question, man. That's all right if I ask y'all a question? So I wrote this book called Driven by Design, right? I'm gonna start with Nick. I can start with Nick Marlon.
Go ahead.
So I really want to ask the question: what drives you, man?
What drives me? I'm gonna just say like where I'm from. Like I know that there's so many. I mean, it's multiple things that drive me, but the first thing I think about is like literally like coming from where we come from. Like the way that we was like just raised is not. We not raised to like be like a dreamer, like we raised to kind of just fit in the system type of thing, because nobody don't want to be like that person or like that person that's doing something different. So like what drives me is like other people that's like me or like want to do things like what we doing. You know what I mean? Because it's like other kids that's growing up, same environment, probably worse, like way worse, you know what I mean? But they don't have nothing to look at and be like, that's what I want to be like. So at least trying to be like a person that even if it's 10 people, whatever, like, being a person for those people that, they need, at whatever point they're at to just see me and see that it's possible and be able to keep going themselves, like you were saying, just like the impact that you leave on people. Like I had walked out the office, it was a dude delivering like a FedEx, like the FedEx driver. Man, this dude like, was about to drop all the packages because he seen me. He like, man, I watch your videos all the time on YouTube. I would have never thought that like this would be making people. He like, man, I really had my brand, like everything that y'all was saying, I was like doing it, and I'm really like growing my brand. So like, that is what drives me.
Yeah.
Yep. And I say, for me, it's gonna be like, how much can I help other people? And and by helping other people, I help myself at the end of the day too, because I say all the time, if I can make the 10 people around me millionaires, I'm gonna be a millionaire either because they're gonna give me $1 million, because they're gonna put me in a position. They're gonna get exposed to something like you said that I get exposed to that's gonna allow me to get to that opportunity. So it's really just for me, creating a community of people that wanna win. Because we always gonna be stronger with more people. Like, me by myself, I may be great, but if you put 10 more me's around me, we excellent. We above average. We shooting for the moon.
Yeah.
So that's what drives me to like develop people around me and myself, develop myself and those people so that we could all get across the bridge.
Yeah, man. I asked y'all that question because when I wrote that book, man, I've been pondering about writing that book for a couple of years, and from my perspective, I see more people living by default than design, right? They just kind of haphazardly accept life as it is, work, go home, sleep, eat, take care of the kids, do it all over again. There's nothing else it's nothing else to like force them outside of that cocoon or that silo. And so after this global pandemic, I said, man, it's out of two types of people walking the earth. It's out of people who still walking around purposeless. They don't have no clue what they have embedded inside of them. Because I live by the philosophy, everything I need is already within me. I have to be in certain environments to pull it out of me. Like I'm as creative as the environment demands it. You see what I'm saying? You put me in certain environments, it'll pull some things out of me that I probably wouldn't even know that I had in me, Just don't ask me to sing or nothing like that. I ain't with that. I can't get jiggy with that, right? Or rap, right? So it was like, the second group of people who walking around are people, this global pandemic kind of broke down all of our structures. Make no mistake about this. Listen to me very carefully. After this pandemic over with, social economics is in the upheaval. Mental health, all these different conversations around people just operating in normalcy. Those things are out the window. You have social economics is destroyed. The first social impact we have is at home. The second one for the adults is at work and for the kids is at school. Pandemic shut all that down. So everybody just stay home. There's no outlet. There's nothing for us to really socially understand or be exposed to different conversations or dialogues. So you got all these people have all this stuff backed in them, and now you're gonna tell them go back out in society and act normal again.
I feel you.
Act normal again. That's why the kid busting holes in the wall, throwing his iPad because he got mad that they beating him and all these different type of things. So the book is really to help people go back to that blueprint that they started off with and say, where am I on this blueprint? Right? The world may have went through this went through it, but I cannot afford to live by default. I have to live by design. And so I just parallel life with building a house, every stage, every segment, and then get all the way to the end, having permission to live, having permission to be happy, and all those type of things.
Where can we find the book at? How can we get it?
Go on the website, man, jeverettministries.com. Our social media, our link is on our bios. It's going live on all of our electronic, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and all the rest of that stuff no later than next Monday. And we're just excited about it, man. We've had over 2,000 or 3,000 orders already in the pre-ordering stage. So it's kind of a dope concept. We're going on tour in March. I've been invited to be on Bishop Jake's panel in March in Charlotte, North Carolina, to have this conversation around mental health, what's chemical and what's situational, what's spiritual and what's professional counseling look like. And all of it kind of gives to this philosophical understanding of living your life by design. Yeah.
Man, that's crazy. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Oh, man, thank y'all, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, this is Marlon Watts, co-owner and CEO of World of Vision. This is the Activate Your Vision podcast, and we back with another one. Shout out to
What we doing? Running it up.
We running it up. Thank y'all. We out.